So Chief, I gather you have several of these.
Yeah, we
so
have
you can show him how to set it up.
As you can look around, only those who have slab roofs actually still have a...
Ashe. Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, on behalf of the indigenous people of Accompong and the wider Maroon districts of Cockpit Country, I send sincere appreciation for your recent visit to our community and for the government of Jamaica's expression of support following the destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa. Your presence, accompanied by the several ministers of government, marked the first official visit of your administration to Accompong since my election in 2021, and it was warmly welcomed by our people. We remain grateful for the humanitarian gesture.
Alright, so what started off as an aid to the Accompong village, turned it out as a rejection from the chief. So the chief is basically saying that the Accompong council has rejected the use of the military personnel, including Jamaica Defence Force, the engineers in the post-Hurricane Melissa rebuilding efforts in the community. So this decision is not a rejection of cooperation, nor does it diminish the appreciation of the humanitarian intended behind the offer. So rather, it reflects an Accompong capacity to manage its internal recovery effort through established civilian channels and international collaboration. Alright, so just to say it out, as I understand it in a more simpler way, is that
the military to assist with the recovery efforts. We also acknowledge your reference on international partners, including Ethiopia, Ghana, and Rwanda, who have expressed readiness to assist in the island's rebuilding efforts. Honorable Prime Minister, following a deep, comprehensive internal review and a formal deliberation, the full Maroon Council has this time decided not to accept the offer on the militarization of the space during the recovery effort. The full Maroon Council instead has resolved to continue with the response, utilizing civilian resources from our joining communities and our partners, both locally and internationally, who have offered to the community their assistance in the recovery efforts. Instead, the Council would like to thank you for the offer on materials and would accept the offer on those materials and equipment necessary to assist in those recovery efforts. We want to ensure, Mr. Prime Minister, that harmony and inclusiveness of our Maroon human resources, of those here in Accompong and adjoining communities, are balanced to execute the infrastructural relief efforts across our Maroon communities. This methodology aligns with our laws and cultural way of life. This decision is based also on the following considerations. 1. The established reconstruction partnerships and resources Accompong has secured through international donations, through technical sponsorships, and volunteer engineering assistance sufficient to address the rebuilding and development needs arising from the hurricane. These partnerships, coordinated through the Accompong Development Foundation, reflect years of relationship building, and they provide to us a structured, culturally and aligned framework for reconstruction across the Maroon territory. The second consideration was the protection of community well-being and trauma sensitivities. As you would have recognized, our community was significantly devastated, and many of our elders, some of the women as well as children, have endured profound emotional trauma. In the aftermath, the introduction of military personnel carrying assault rifles, as we would have seen just the other day, even in a humanitarian capacity, could exacerbate and distress and cause additional distress among residents of the community. The Council believes that reconstruction conducted through civilian and community-based teams is the most appropriate path for maintaining emotional security and cultural stability at this time. This, I'm sure, you can understand, Mr. Prime Minister. Our treaty obligations and governance. The third consideration would be the treaty obligations and governance responsibilities. Accompong, as a treaty recognized indigenous polity under the 1738 treaty, bears the responsibility of in ensuring that the recovery operation within the territorial space are consistent with its laws, governance institutions, and cultural protocols. The Council has therefore determined that internal and partner-supported reconstruction efforts remain the most suitable avenue for the recovery from the damages that were sustained. This decision is not a rejection of cooperation, nor does it diminish the appreciation of the humanitarian intent behind your offer. We again thank you. But rather, it reflects Accompong's capacity to manage its internal recovery efforts through established civilian channels and international collaborative efforts that have been ongoing since the impact of this storm. I again reiterate our commitment to engage in dialogue on areas where meaningful cooperation between the government of Jamaica and the Accompong Maroons can be maintained. We thank everyone for their continued support, particularly in matters related to the disaster readiness and recovery from the effects of Hurricane Melissa. The Maroons continue to show their resilience and share their support with the broader communities impacted by the storm. We respectfully emphasize that this disaster relief cannot be interpreted as altering or diminishing Accompong's treaty-recognized autonomy.
Basically, I say they don't want any assistance from the JDF. The Jamaica Defense Force, him don't want no assistance from him. And it's clearly that something basically happened before regarding the JDF. That's why he decides he don't want help from them. So as I say, he appreciate help from Andrew Holness for the donation and so forth. But in terms of the JDF assisting them with further help, him rather the people in the community do that. You get me? So basically something has happened in the past that he decides, we don't want help from the JDF force. Because I'd be a fuck with them being going in the past. But end of the day, most people are saying that he is ungrateful because he got the help. And most people that needed the help never got it, but him get it and him refuse it. But as a chief, I totally agree with him. If you're basically running a country, or you're running a village, or you're running a community, and something that affected your community before, you basically go not work with it. I'm just think of something that happened before that he decided, say, no, we don't want JDF help. So as much as we appreciate the Prime Minister help, you get me? I said, because, bro, when I just saw the news, I say, Andrew can't get a breaky because every headline Andrew name is involved in it. You get me? I said, and the people are frustrated because he's the Prime Minister and there's a lot going on in Jamaica right now in terms of rebuilding. And there's nobody else to blame, so that's why Andrew only always get the blame.